we are now going to talk about reflection. We're going to reflect figures over lines, and we're going to use patty paper to do so. So here the instructions are to reflect the figure over line L and then to label this new image. So we're going to take our patty paper just like before. We're going to try our best and make sure that both the figure and the line are totally under the patty paper. And we're going to trace both. So we want to make sure we clearly indicate where the start and end point of line L are. So now we connect them and we try to be as perfect as we can, make that straight line. Again, I didn't lift up my patty paper. It's still perfectly lined up over here. And I'm going to try my best to trace the figure over here. This one isn't too difficult because there's no curved lines. There we go. Now for the reflecting part. So we are going to take our patty paper. We're going to lift it up, flip it. We're going to line up line L on our patty paper with the line on the worksheet itself. Just going to try our best to make sure it's perfectly lined up, the start point, the end point. And here we see the reflection of figure A. So here's figure A and here's its reflection. But we want to get that reflection on the paper as well. So just like before, we take our pencil, we use some force, we press down, and we try our best to trace that image as best we can. All right. Now, and now we actually have a bit of a shadow from our tracing, which is very helpful. So we're just going to fill it in. Now, due to human error, this figure may not look exactly like this one over here, but it's supposed to. It just doesn't look right like the lines because of human error. But we do see our reflection. So if this is figure A, we call this the image of A. And another way to indicate that is R of A, or reflection of A. Now we're going to do the same thing with our second figure over here. We see figure B. We see line L. And in this case, our figure is actually touching line L. So let's see what happens in that case. Again, I go back to my patty paper. And even though I have a bunch of writing on my paper, on my patty paper, there's still a good amount of blank space. So we're going to use all that blank space up. This other drawing doesn't matter. We can just ignore it. So we take our patty paper, put it over our figure, put it over our line. Make sure all of that is under the patty paper. And like before, we trace the line. So we're careful to put a point at the two endpoints of line L. And we trace our triangle. Again, this one's kind of easy because it's a triangle. It's got all straight sides, no curves. So now to the reflecting, we lift up our patty paper. We line it up. So we line up line L on the patty paper and on the worksheet. Try our best to be exact as possible. That's pretty good. And now we see figure B and its reflection. So we take our pencil, use some force, try our best to trace that triangle. May not be perfect, but try to make it as accurate as possible. Okay, lift up your patty paper. Cool. We see a little shadow or a outline of our triangle. We fill it in. And voila, we have our reflection of figure B. So if this is figure B, we're going to call that image of B. Once again, you guys are going to have your own worksheet. So on this worksheet, you're going to do the same thing with your patty paper, do some reflecting, and then you're also going to reflect about these questions. So 2 types of reflecting we're doing. Geometric reflecting and thinking reflecting. So make sure you answer these questions as well.